Hello. What? I don't think anyone can hear you, Greg. We're live now. Welcome, everybody. Hi. Are you on the? Yeah. Hey, Greg. Where are you? Are you going to come around and Well, actually, did Justin even turn on your microphone yet? Hi. Hello, everybody. The OneRing.net is going live. Welcome to Torn Tuesday. The Tuesday show is going live.
Over here. Yeah.
You coming over here? Okay, Greg. Thank you for being here. By the way.
No worries.
Is some water at all? I don't know.
Oh my goodness. No, I don't think they're set up yet. They're actually just starting the process of opening the bar. The bar. That's right. It's Scum and Villainy Cantina. This is the bar where we're at here in the heart of Hollywood.
All right, going live.
I thought you just did. It just tweeted that we went live. That was a dry run, folks.
3, 2, 1.
Remind me again. Rob. Greg, Tally, and Rob are with us tonight, but Justin is still hiding behind the curtain. That little man who you're not supposed to pay any attention to, allegedly. According to conventional wisdom, we must not pay any attention to that, quote, unquote.
But I can see him.
The little man behind the curtain? The one that we're not supposed to be paying attention to? I believe if we're live on the OneRing.net,
Slowly taking off in a balloon.
he's doing his job at least. If we are coming into your interwebs live streaming from Scum and Villainy Cantina, if you can see us and hear us, then you're here at the OneRing.net. Torn Tuesday has now officially begun. Ladies and gentlemen, that little man behind the curtain that we're not supposed to pay any attention to is my usual co-host, my co-criminal in Tolkien observations, pop culture spun wisdom. But tonight, instead, we're not going to pay attention to Justin. He's going to come back and make a surprise gesture into the frame, I'm sure, before the next 90 minutes is up. Ladies and gentlemen, we're in for a treat. Look who's here.
Hello.
It's Greg Talley and Rob.
Rob Maynard.
And Rob
I
Maynard.
didn't know you wanted a legal
I was
last
going to do
name.
that. I was going to say we're doing the
Social
journalism
security number
thing.
next.
I am not used to giving out my last name.
House cleaning. It's just house cleaning, where we usually say it out front and never bother with it again. It's just the one thing we say up front. You know, it's not like we haven't been doing a live stream for 7 years. Welcome, folks, to the OneRing.net. I am your amiable host, Quick Beam, the friendly young ent of Treebeard. I am Clifford Broadway, online with Tolkien fandom, online for 20 years with the OneRing.net. I've been with you and the community at the One Ring for 2 decades now. We're heading into WonderCon weekend. We're going to head into a heady, huge, amazing convention season, which for all the Lord of the Rings at Tolkien fans, or ringers, as they're better known as, we're going to be filled with this enthusiasm, this energy. Gentlemen, it's coming. We're going to be talking about WonderCon coming up. We're also going to be talking about the Tolkien film from Fox Searchlight, starring Nicholas Hoult and Lily Collins, directed by Dome Kurakowski. Mr. Kurakowski, who will be with us on a live panel this weekend, talking about the film about the life of author of the century, J.R.R. Tolkien. And we have some recommended reading, since yesterday was Tolkien Reading Day. Guys, what did you read? Did you read a Tolkien passage on Tolkien Reading Day? What's your favorite one?
Favorite Tolkien passage?
Your favorite Tolkien passage that you would read, and that's what we observe. Welcome to the OneRing.net. Of course, we're observing just recently passed.
It's going to be something with Tom Bombadil.
Yesterday was the anniversary of the destruction of the ring and the end of Sauron's power over people in the Third Age. So to commemorate that worldwide, you all know this, we're doing the Tolkien Reading Day. We're a day late because we don't do Torn Monday. It's Torn Tuesday. So thank you very much for knocking bottles over and cans. And how much chaos can one man manage behind the bar by himself? But what would your
Cliff
passage
is messing
be?
up
I
the
could get
well
back
bar
there.
down here. You can't see it. It's
just-
off camera. But bottles are going everywhere.
Something for everyone, a comedy tonight.
I could get back there and start helping you screw it
Please do, sure. We'll get you a glass of water, by the way. Mr. Maynard, we'll get you some
up.
water.
Maybe one day.
We'll do that.
But,
We'll get that.
you know, I
Mordor's a
was
thirsty place.
driving yesterday from Denver, Colorado.
Coming all the way here to lovely Los Angeles
Yeah,
from Denver.
all the way. Overnighted in Henderson. You know, because when you're gonna be in Vegas, you got to go to the extreme South Strip by the airport.
Oh.
That's where the action is. Yeah. At the Hilton Garden Inn. Very, very, very exciting place.
You left with your wallet, too?
And I left with my wallet. But
That's great. Well, if Justin wants to know about that, he can get a microphone to tell us
But-
about that.
I did not. I'm ashamed to admit read anything for
Okay.
Tolkien Monday.
Then we're doing it a day late now.
But if I had to geek out over something, I remember spending hours in the back of all of the Tolkien books, reading all of the annotated notes, and just sort of losing myself in that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because that was always just fun as a kid to go through it.
The best. That $150 million appendices, excuse me. Yeah, I mean, they spent, according to, excuse me, did I say 150 million? I meant to say $500 million to get the license. Amazon Studios is just as interested as you are in those appendices, reading them. And they are juicy reading. Yeah. I agree with you. Reading the annals of the kings and rulers, learning all this stuff about the Second Age leading into Third Age. Wow, it's really a really, really good reading. And you realize that this was Tolkien's surrogate for the Silmarillion that he wasn't ready to publish. He was hastily collecting his notes, and so many of his notes suddenly becomes 130 pages of lore, calendars, moon phases, alphabet systems, genealogical tables of family lines and hobbit trees. Really?
Yeah.
Really?
And they don't even all make it into any of the stories. It's just sort of background
they
knowledge you can use.
It's amazing. That's really an excellent choice, Mr. Greg Talley. The appendix. And that's what you would read for Tolkien Reading Day.
How many people got to the
fantastic.
end when Frodo and Bilbo and everybody sails off, and you're like, I want more. Where am I going to get more? There is no more. So, you know, it was like if you're not ready to dive into the Silmarillion, you go to the appendices, and you're like, what else is there? You know, so it was sort of, you know, to get the fix.
Do you know
keep going.
I read The Hobbit again. That's how I got over it.
Yes. I love rereading The Hobbit again because it's such a joy to read. And it's so easily digestible and so good.
Well, yeah, because
so good.
It's supposed to be kind of the kid's book, right?
Yeah.
And that's how I like I think they say similar things about Harry Potter, right? Where the series kind of grows up with you.
Yeah.
Right, and I think that's kind of it. The Hobbit, you can start as a kid, but then when you get to the teen, it's time to get to Lord of the Rings.
Indeed, exactly.
Yeah. But if I was reading something, I would read something about Tom Bombadil. Probably I would read when Tom Bombadil gets to hold the ring, and it's just like, this is nothing. Because I think seeing that there's this great power that's more powerful than evil, even if it's terribly indifferent to good or evil, can exist, and how ambivalent it can be to any of the problems that every other character cares about in that series.
Indeed. A major, major shift in the whole universe when someone can scoff at what everyone else takes so seriously.
If only he cared enough to come on the adventure. But
such a moment.
Such
a moment in time. Gentlemen, for my money, when it comes to Tolkien Reading Day, I pick one of these. This is our collected edition of the letters of Professor John Ronald Reuel Tolkien. And in these pages, you will find the man writing letters and correspondence to his publisher, to his kids, to his fans, many of whom were drug-addled teenagers of the 60s, him talking about his response to Nazism in Germany, his thoughts and his feelings on languages and the association of the power of myth and the staying power of religion and all these amazing things. If you really want to know this man, this is where you start. If you want to know this man's mind, and if you want to find out where there's more of Tolkien's wisdom, I would just grab a letter, because you can grab a letter, some of them are a page, some are 28 pages long. Yeah. These letters to his publisher are insane. And most recently, this was the one that I did for Tolkien Reading Day. It's a newly discovered letter that he wrote to a fan like you, Greg Talley. Imagine that this is Tolkien's response to the words you just said right now. Where's more? Where's the next chapter of these characters? I don't want it to end here. Where's the next story, right? Looking for more. In response to that, Professor Tolkien wrote this, and it was never published. And it's going to go up for auction. This thing is going to go up on the auction block at Bonham's, I believe tomorrow, or in a couple of days. Dated July 3rd, 1961. How old was I? I was an ovum. How old were you?
Non-existent.
Exactly, see? So let's go back in time and just pretend.
I was 30.
Let's pretend. Dear Mr. Gilmore, dear Mr. Talley, just imagine he's writing this to you. Thank you very much for your appreciation of my work. It was kind of you to write so warmly. No story has an end. Period. No story has an end. No picture has any boundary. Period. And then he says, it's unbelievable. but one has to put one's small vision into a frame, because you cannot see anything clearly unless you concentrate on it. I shall not write a sequel to The Lord of the Rings. Too bad. Because, as is really clearly stated in the course of the story, it is the end of the kind of world about which I write, the twilight in which mythology and history are blended. After that, there is only history. Period. I mean, these are the most ultimate mic drops that Professor Tolkien has ever given, and we've never seen this letter before. This is just amazing. He says, after that, there is only history. But I am supposed to be writing a sequel in the sense that it will be published after The Lord of the Rings, though the stories will be about the time before, in the first and the second ages. Thanking you once again, yours sincerely, J.R.R. Tolkien. Do you believe that? This thing is real. Do you believe that? And then...
Hand typed. So, I mean, was this one of the first prequels? I mean, prequel is not a concept that's been around for that long.
It was his concept in the 1950s, because remember, Lord of the Rings succeeded in its publishing history in 1954. It was published in 1954. Throughout the 1950s, it was the intellectual elites and some of the college students who picked up Tolkien. Then in the 60s, a decade later, it became the pop culture phenomenon that we're all talking about today. A little bit of a late bloomer. I mean, it was sitting on the shelf for a decade and was much appreciated, but it wasn't, gonzo, bonzo box office in that term, in that gross popular term of what they call botho. That's what Daily Variety would call it.
It wasn't selling dwarf-shaped candles yet.
It wasn't selling dwarf-shaped candles, and
it's the best reason to buy a dwarf-shaped candle that I can think of.
Dragon-scented, car, some scents for your head to drape over your rearview mirror.
Well, we assume the dragon will smell like.
The thing is, at that point in time, it was 1961. You can tell by the thought and the concentration of thought in his end paragraph, I'm working on it, buddy. I'm putting together the Silmarillion. And so we have an insight into what it's like in the early 1960s. In 1961, when Professor Tolkien kept trying to get his publisher to agree to publish the Silmarillion, they had always said no. They had said no to him for 20 years. They had been breaking his heart forever and ever and ever. They're like, give us more of Bilbo. Give us The Hobbit. Give us all this charm and whimsy that you do so well. So here we have him leaking out a small behind the scenes where he is writing a sequel, a prequel, and this is the first time, without him even using the word, he explains it, because there is no such word as prequel. So Tolkien spends a sentence explaining, in the sense it's being published after The Lord of the Rings, but here we go, that's it. This contextual consideration of his work is what's in my mind, and the fact that he's aware of fans writing him really deep letters, like you would have at that time, saying, I've got the appendices, I'm going to digest all this now. I've got to read more. Is there more?
You're overestimating me. I would have scrawled something crude and crayon on, and would have been illegible.
None so eloquent as you. No, guys, the man is aware of his fans. Within 6 or 7 years of him writing that, there would be drugged out kids on LSD in his rose garden, peeping through his windows, looking at him and Edith, looking at his windows, bugging the hell out of him. And noise.
The American dream.
Yeah, I'm telling you. It's totally, and you have to remember, bless his heart, Professor Tolkien was maybe considered by some a stuffy Oxford don, an erudite, professor. He's academia. He can't handle French food. He despises things like, things that we consider regular things in our world.
Well, in Tolkien's defense, a lot of British people of that time and era really had no use for the French. So,
that's true.
But we love the French now.
Yeah, well, I'm telling you, this is actually great stuff. The letters, guys. If you've ever picked up a little thing, you might find some surprising nuggets in the letters of Tolkien. So that's it. We did Tolkien Reading Day. Welcome to all the fans live on the show. It's great to have you all here. We just got a nice opening show. You guys just both drove all the way over here from...
I flew.
You flew?
He flew, I drove.
You flew and you drove?
I drove all the podcast equipment here. We're doing some recordings over the weekend. We're also performing live tomorrow.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, Rob, go ahead.
Oh, you jerk. He told
Tell
me
us
I'd
what's
have to
going
do
on.
all this stuff. So we're doing a live performance in a show called Scripts Gone Wild. Maybe if you've seen them. Basically, what goes on in the show is comedians and actors, they have the script in front of them and they perform it, but if they flub, they miss a line or anything like that, they have to take a drink. Thanks, Greg. Am I explaining it?
I'm sorry.
Unbelievable.
I
I
have
stole
to take a
myself
drink.
out.
Right. So ad-libs, flubs.
Yeah, flubs. If you miss your cue, you
Miss
take
your
a
mark.
drink, and the audience gets to play along and drink too. Certain words are picked as keywords, and when those words are said in the script, the audience gets to drink. And the script that we're doing this time, because they've done a whole bunch of things prior. They did Mrs. Doubtfire recently, and a ton of things. I know Jaws is coming.
It was a drive-by fruiting.
Yeah, they.
Every time I throw fruit at at James Bond, I always think of that line. By the way, sorry. Go
Every
ahead.
time every time I wear whipped cream on my face as a facial mask, I think of Mrs. Doubtfire too. And this one is Zombie Nightmare is the movie they're doing. So Zombie
fun.
Nightmare is a classic episode of Mystery Science Theater 3000,
Yes,
which is
yes.
what our podcast is generally centered around. Centered.
And censored.
Could be occasionally
It
censored.
is actually censored. We're
Self-censored.
PG-13, man. We've got kids fans, you know? We're admired. We're like Dora the Explorer.
Well, the showrunner, Joel Hodgson, asked that our podcast used to be a little more blue, and he asked that we dial it back. So we dialed it back.
You see, I constrain myself every week. I've been on the air for 7 years, and I have hardly ever gone blue except once. And
And that's because you weren't breathing.
Yeah, I know. Thank you. It's because it was that 1 week I missed. I'm telling you, I don't know how I've maintained a G-rated level, but the conversation amongst all of us,
Professionalism.
usually just very affectionate fans, what do we have to cuss and curse about? Not much. We leave the foul language to the orcses, filthy orcses.
So
No, they don't taste very nice, do they, my precious?
No.
No, they don't.
But if you want to act like an orc tomorrow night,
Yeah. So would you stop giving me all the information?
Let's do it.
Anyway, so it's at Catch One here in L.A.
Yeah,
and
Catch One.
It's at 8 o'clock, and tickets are $10 for general admission and $20 for VIP. And let's not kid yourself, you're a VIP.
That's gonna be so awesome.
And it's going to benefit the Shriners Children's Hospital.
Yes.
So it's for a good cause.
Yes,
So
indeed.
come get drunk for a good cause. And it's going to be funny. Tom Everett Scott will be there, known
yeah.
for That Thing You Do, but known for a movie I love, American Werewolf in Paris.
Of course.
So,
yes.
and Pruitt Taylor Vince will be there, and he's done lots of TV. He's also been in Identity, another movie I love. Frank Dietz will be there. Greg Talley will be there.
Alexis
Jennifer Lynn Warren.
Iacono will be there, and she just walked into the. Alexis Iacono.
If only she was here to correct you.
Yes, she just walked in.
How about that? Welcome to the show.
She
Well,
took
hello
over
there.
the whole room.
Now you guys, this is going to be just tomorrow night. What time again?
8 o'clock, 8 p.m. Catch One.
Excellent.
Greg, do you have the address for Catch One?
I can pull it up on my phone.
All right, that'd be great.
But
Awesome
tickets
sauce.
are $10 general admission, $20 VIP.
I said that.
You said that?
Yeah.
Well,
Yes,
I don't
already.
listen
Isn't
to
that
you.
fantastic?
We
Guys,
don't-
that's going to be a very exciting show. That's going to be really a lot of fun.
Yeah,
to
and
work
there's
that
going to
one
be a
out.
lot of drinking, and
Oh,
yeah, if you
fun.
haven't seen Zombie Nightmare, it's one of those classics Mystery Science Theater episodes, and it
Yes.
stars Adam West.
Oh,
and it's
yes.
not one of the highlights of his career. And it also stars Frank Dietz, who is hosting the show tomorrow
Really?
night. So
Do you
the
know-
actual cast that was in the movie is going to be at the show.
How
I
funny.
believe there's also a son of another cast member that'll be there. So there's quite a
Really?
lot of dedication to Zombie Nightmare. And I believe this is actually Frank's special version of Zombie Nightmare, where essentially he sits there and makes jokes about how bad the script
All new
is
riffs, all new
the whole
jokes.
time.
Okay? That'll be really a ton of fun. That would be super, super, super fun. That's so exciting.
Check that out. Catch One, 8 p.m.
And the address for Catch One
Greg
is,
has that.
For those
I
who
pulled
are
it up.
listening.
I pulled it up. I'm
Hello, love.
ready.
How are you? How you doing?
It is
Yes, we
Catch
are, as a matter of
One,
fact. Welcome to the show.
4067 Pico Boulevard.
Hey, I'm Cliff. I never got
Google
to meet
Catch
you.
One
And
if you're here in LA.
Yeah, it's just
lovely
far
to see
easier.
you. These guys
That's
are
what I would do.
doing their job to introduce me to this lovely
This
woman.
is Clifford.
Hello, Alexis. Welcome aboard.
This is Alexis.
Here's. You can, yeah,
We're
you can
already
get around.
live. This is like an Inception live within a live
So-
thing.
It's a double live.
Double live.
Would you like a seat?
Life's the same when you're living in stereo. Anybody remember the Cars? Candy-O? The best album of the 80s? Anyone? Bueller. Come on.
There's only
bomb.
one Rico I care about, and it's Rico E. Anderson.
How many more 80s references can I make? And there's just crickets. You know what? Let's try this
I was
one.
a zygote for most of that decade.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was zygote for a long time. It was unusual.
My Adam West story. I worked in Saks Fifth Avenue on Michigan. Excuse me, it was Michigan Avenue. The Saks Fifth Avenue location in Chicago, downtown. I'm working at the jewelry counter, and in comes Adam West. Since you guys are going to have this whole Adam West thing going on tomorrow, it's going to be brilliant. But I have only one tiny connection. Adam West came up to me at Saks Fifth Avenue to buy some costume jewelry for who he described was a beautiful, beautiful, lovely lady that I'd like to impress.
It was Eartha Kitt.
He could have been, but here's the thing. I'm ringing up this pair of earrings. They're beautiful. I'm just about to finish, take his money, swipe the card, and he says, "Oh, by the way, do you happen to have a button there for my bat discount?" Really? It just came right out straight to the front.
Did he really say that?
I was glowing with his. I was beaming at him. Yeah, he knew it was coming. He knew it was coming. You know what? He did. He really said that. And I said, "I like the way you think, Mr. Wayne." And I just kept ringing it up and did it. You know, if I only could have. But that was so funny. To me, yeah, it was the ultimate of lame. But to me, I couldn't have a geekier, finer Adam West story than that.
Why didn't he use George? Why didn't he use George Clooney's back-shaped credit card?
I know. Why not?
Bat's got an unlimited line of credit.
Because it's black. It's an Amex Black card, of course.
I think he could kill someone with it.
So no, that's it. So you guys run with the Adam West jokes tomorrow, but just don't mention my story tomorrow. God,
I'm sure Frank will have lots of that when we're on stage.
I know. My gosh, it's 8 o'clock. Is that correct?
8 o'clock.
Catch one.
Doors open at 7 p.m. And he pretty much said everything, but the proceeds go to the Shriner Kids Hospital.
Yes, to the Shriners Hospital.
There's going to be drinking, and every time we flub a line, we have to drink. So I'm going to get drunk.
And the audience can, of course, drink
I'm
along,
going to be wasted.
So you know what? Eat something heavy before you begin, so it'll absorb the alcohol.
Well, I figure since it's a Guinea type of a movie, I'll probably have a little pasta and channel my New York ways.
There you go, a little starch,
You know, it's called method acting.
Well, it also satisfies the urge for a second breakfast, which we always advocate on this show.
Right.
Always down for more food.
I already had 11sies.
Yeah, and tea, and supper, and dinner, by the way.
I'm
supper
having
and
beer.
Dinner.
I saw the last Scripts Gone Wild, and people were like drinking hardcore drinks, and they were like wasted by the time Act 2 came. And I'm like, oh fuck no, I'm having beer. I'm gonna be a mess. Yeah, no.
Now, in fairness, when Rob says 11sies, he means the jazz cabbage. It's not food.
That's going to be amazing. Wow,
Jazz cabbage.
I love that. Jeez, you guys.
Nobody knows what that means except me.
We featured drinking on our show in the context of one of the better contexts of it comes in pints. I'm getting me one, and we're off to the bar. But you know, I've never been able to go through a challenge of a drinking game or a drinking contest. I've got my limits. I mean. I don't know. How are you going to do it?
I'm going to drink every time other people mess up too, because I've seen the script and I don't have enough lines to get drunk, even if I mess them all up.
Oh, okay. Therefore, you want to guarantee a good buzz.
So I'm gonna drink when other people screw up too.
And apparently, like it's like Pee-wee's Playhouse. Like there's that secret word, and every time like an actor says a word, we all have to drink, even the audience.
I love that.
And the mailbox screams.
However,
exactly.
I will say this, that people that do not want to drink, or they can't, or they just stopped. There's a designated drinker.
That's me.
In the audience. So like, let's say someone doesn't want to drink. Someone in the audience will take a drink for that person that does not want to do that. So it's not forced upon.
And I'll take 2.
Ooh.
Yeah, no, I mean
Nice.
clearly if we don't want.
Yeah, you don't have to drink if you don't want to. Just,
I stir the
just
pot
come and laugh at other
and
people.
stir shit anyway. I don't want to do that, so none of us do.
I want to see the whole Karen Black routine from Indiana Jones with the stacks of shot glasses all piled up. That's what I want to see. Right there. So that's
She just
a perfect
finished that.
visual symbol of what you've been through.
Yeah.
That's what I want to see.
Right.
She just finished that before she got here. Knocked 2 dudes right out.
Her or me?
Okay. You guys,
Oh, me, yes. Yep. I do that every day.
Are we going to WonderCon?
No.
This weekend?
No.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
avoiding that like the plague. I did some of the Comic-Con circuit, and I did the convention circuit, and I'm not knocking it.
Oh, wow.
It's great, but it's like it's exhausting.
It is, especially San Diego is the experience that I find most exhausting, and WonderCon is just like a lighter, much, more light in its feet kind of mini version.
Yes,
of San
mini
Diego.
version.
A mini version, so it's breathable. But I'm very excited, I must admit, because I'm going to be there, and I'm going to be talking a lot with the guys at thewondering.net, doing our own panel presentation about Middle Earth and about Amazon's big series coming up. And I just found out and talked to the folks at Fox Searchlight that I'll be hosting and moderating the audience Q&A and the panel for the Tolkien film.
Oh, that's cool.
They're about to pull.
Cool.
I'm going to have Nicholas Holt and the director Dome Korokowski on stage, and I'm going to be peppering them with questions that about before this film is dropped on people. They're going to get a really good glimpse inside the life of Professor Tolkien. So
cool.
I always find myself committed, whether I'm tired of them or not. I'm always at conventions because I'm always committed. I'm always there, like a piece of furniture. It's like, set me up a sleeping cot, boys, because I'll be back tomorrow.
Yes.
Clifford's back again.
It's that thing. Convention season is upon us, and I have to admit,
They just want you to
excited.
sing Bilbo Baggins. That's your shtick.
What? The Spock version? The Leonard Nimoy version?
Exactly.
No.
Why not?
No.
Why not?
No. Only if you join me in karaoke version. Come on, Justin.
Let's do the entire score to the Rankin Bass Hobbit.
The mischievous spirit of Loki. I could do that.
Down, down to Goblin Town.
Down, down to Goblin
Nerds.
Town.
You go,
Nerds.
my lad.
I'm a nerd.
Ho, ho, my lad.
It's I always like that he has those, he's got the lyrics written down, but there's no music that goes with it. So
in the future, when I
would
reread it,
what I want to hear is Tolkien singing it when he wrote it. I want to know what his tune is.
His tune was just the language of the music of the language, so to speak. It was the poetry that he found musical. For other people to put like real compositions to it, wow. I mean, if only. Professor Tolkien was a great watercolor artist. He was a great illustrator. He was a great linguist. God knows he was a good writer.
Right.
With many, many, many things. But
terrible
Lord knows
bowler.
He never, terrible bowler. But he never took his hand to music or piano, which is too bad, though.
You can't master everything.
But
He's a master
I
of
don't
language.
know. Do you know what? He makes jokes about 9 pins in The Hobbit. Maybe he was a good
Oh,
bowler.
you're right.
Maybe he
The
he
head
knows
down
how-
the
golf
game
and
of
bowl.
golf was invented.
He was terrible at eating sushi. He couldn't hold the chopsticks. That was really he couldn't do it.
I do
would
believe you
imagine.
made that up.
You guys.
Stop.
So seriously, I don't know what to do about this weekend. I just found out about this, so I'm like, well, I've been doing a lot of research actually, and so Nicholas Holt is going to be here with me, and all I want to do is talk to him about Fury Road and what that silver spray paint tastes like. And I'm going to hesitate. I'm going to talk to him about the Tolkien movie instead. But what I really want to talk about is what's it like working with a genius like Mr. Miller?
Oh yeah,
wow.
But everything should be shiny and chrome. I mean, that's just the
know.
way to go.
Witness me. I bet it tasted minty because it had to just be some sort of a mint. It wasn't paint for sure.
But one thing, I got the dinosaur thing. We both got the comedy podcast going. But the person amongst the three of us sitting here who has probably the strongest fantasy credentials is right here.
Hi.
Is Alexis. So please,
hello.
Tell us your claim to fame and in the world of fantasy and what you do.
Yeah.
Well, I started. Now I'm live. Now I'm talking. Now I'm live.
Oh, good. Good.
I started as a stage actress. Here we go. I want to get
Hey
everyone.
there. Hey, welcome.
So this is the mystery.
It's Totoro. It's Totoro.
Mystery
Hi
Science
there.
3000.
Welcome.
Hello.
Welcome to Torn Tuesday, everybody.
Yes.
TheOneRing.net is an open door, a nexus of geekery. Bring the geek. Bring the
Bring the
geekery.
geek.
We love it.
I started as a stage actress in New York City. My breakthrough was I portrayed Fay Ray on stage as a young girl, and she was also my director with Robert Crest.
Wow.
And Frank Dietz directed and did a documentary called Long Live the King, which is now on Amazon Prime.
It's very good.
Yeah,
Watch it.
it's I'm in it. I discuss my professional and personal friendship with Faye. I knew her up until her death, and I had old hat boxes filled with letters and
God.
yeah.
My God.
Yeah,
she was America's sweetheart. She was the most pivotal woman in cinema.
Yeah. And
it wasn't the ape, it was her.
No, it was her.
It was her. Totally, yeah.
And she was elegant, and she took me under her wing. I worked and met with wonderful people. She wasn't a very good driver.
Wow.
Terrible bowler.
Because
what
right.
a legend.
Yes, like the same thing. Yes,
Terrible bowler.
But what a legend. Wow.
So that was my breakthrough, and I get to discuss that on. It's on now Amazon Prime. Long Live the King.
Gotta see it.
I'm with. I discuss it with Brian Howe, who's going to be on the show tomorrow. Peter Jackson from Lord of the Rings, who's not going to be in the show tomorrow.
Yeah.
But he's
He's welcome to come and drink.
He's welcome to
online,
hang.
yeah.
Dana Gould, who's
Dana
hilarious the whole
Gould.
Really?
time.
Oh yeah, and
Wowzer browser.
Joe Dante.
Mr. Dante himself?
Yeah.
I love that guy.
Yeah. So
Oh my God.
yeah.
Good stuff. Oh my God.
So that was my geek breakthrough.
is.
I've always been a geek. I'm a cellist and tap dancer all my life. Yeah, it gets pretty nerdy, and then I became a lacrosse player, and I was actually pretty good at it.
There are a lot of cool tap dancers.
And
yeah,
the
I
cellist.
huff. Yeah.
Okay. I love sitting down and talking music. Serious. We're going to shift the whole rest of the show to talk about music. Howard Shore, let's do this conversation. He said he wants to come back and do the music for the Amazon Prime show. What do you think of that?
Great. Get me involved. I love Baroque. I'm a Baroque snob. I love all of that.
Let's do
Vasa
it.
music, and I'm just
Oh my God, let's do it. Let's have you be
yeah.
one
I
of the
need
featured
to
soloists.
practice. I need to practice my Wagner, but I love a good V.
I would love to have. My gosh, not
really a
not
W,
only
good
Amazon
SAV.
Prime are we going to have you in the running for the casting in the show, but you should be one of the featured soloists in the music. Let's make it happen.
Let's make it happen.
I want to do that.
If it ain't Baroque, don't fix it.
Oh.
Well, isn't that a Cogsworth joke from Beauty and the Beast?
No!
Is that a Disney joke?
Well,
Okay.
I
Wow.
consider myself on the same level as Cogsworth, actually.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
we're going to watch this on Amazon Prime, and it is Long Live the King.
Long Live the King.
Yes.
So
Wow, gotta see
I
it.
had the opportunity to be involved with some amazing people in that. So
That's fantastic.
cut to a lot of theater, blah, 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 film. Then the video game world fell into my lap. So I'm in World of Warcraft Cataclysm, one of the lead goblins in that. Got to work with some really cool Blizzard people, and who I now call family, and they invited me back in World of Warcraft Legion, and I play the kill boss. I'm Lady Hatecoil.
Wow, yes,
So-
yes.
So besides my ex-boyfriends calling me that, I'm actually that professionally. I'm Lady Hatecoil. Yeah, true story. And then film producing fell into my lap. So between shorts and features, which more I lean on features, it's my 11th feature that I'm producing now.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Bringing it.
Harley Quinn.
Bringing it.
You're hot. Some girls try to look like Harley Quinn, and they just,
No.
girls shouldn't do that. But
No,
you're hot.
11 out of 10 every time for the Harley. The Harley energy is so pure from you. all the
I've
time.
never pulled
You
that
guys are
look
so
off
sweet to me.
successfully.
And then the Gandalf outfit that you wear is also amazing.
You
the
can, though.
ginger pigtail.
Oh, that. Both of you? Okay, okay. All right, I'll take it. The guy, welcome to Scum and Villainy. Alexis,
Scum
thank
and
you.
Villainy.
Thank you for being on our show.
Of course.
This is a legendary moment because when it comes to all things fantasy and the way that the genre of fantasy and science fiction impacts us, we're at next level now because he was talking about modern mythology. That's what Professor Tolkien was doing.
Right.
Creating a mythology that he always thought was never there for England. And the Marvel Cinematic Universe and other very large intellectual properties, not just Middle-earth, but certainly Harry Potter and Star Wars.
Godzilla.
And Godzilla.
He's getting
and
a whole new backstory with this new series.
Isn't he, though? So how is it that we find ourselves so, as consumers, maybe, or as people who are good listeners, we're so involved. As fans, we get involved.
Right.
Like Game of Thrones
Right.
has gotten everybody in such a frenzy,
Right.
and now Amazon just spent $500 million to license this guy. You know why? Because it's a good investment for them. They know it's all going to come back, and there's going to be all the ancillary stuff beyond the show that they're doing as well. We know this.
Yep.
It's going to be a whole pyramid of amazing things, and God forbid, the merchandising. It's going to be clever. The video games have been renewed.
Yep.
A new German game company just announced their Gollum video game they're going to be designing.
You just sit in the cave in the dark alone
for hundreds of years.
Eat raw fish.
Eating raw fish and orcs. But how is it we're so into these new mythologies? What do you reflect on that?
I just think people want to go back to old school because of social media. And look, I'm one of them. I'm live. I put live on. It's all about live and instant gratification. It has fucked all of us. Instant gratification, dating life, especially. No, it's not even a joke. It's a turn off. It's a fucking turn off.
I know what you mean.
Professionally and everything. And I do believe people are very much afraid to fall in love today because of being hurt in the past. We all have, and so forth. We romanticize through books. We romanticize through video games. I'm a gamer, so I go through my fantasy and I do my first-person shooter, and I love my Deus Ex and my Portal and my Half-Life, and I'm all that. Like I dig all the shit. I get it. So I've recognized it, and I just think, and I'm not pointing out men and women or projecting on my own bullshit. I just see it in general, and I've experienced a fair share of shit. At the end of the day, I think people are afraid, but I think they want to go back to that. They want to go back to old school. They want to go back to
sincerity.
Except with all that racist stuff.
Yeah.
Just not that stuff.
Well,
Don't bring that stuff back.
Well,
I mean,
no, I don't mean that. I don't mean that.
Yeah, but a time of sincerity, maybe?
A time of sincerity.
Something meaningful?
Where
people find the meaning in the way Frodo and Sam save each other's lives.
Well, that's right.
People find meaning. I especially find meaning in the way that Patty Jenkins films her coming out of the trench.
Okay, so
in Wonder Woman, and that energy.
But see, this is your perfect example. You just romanticize that saving someone. And that's what people want to do, especially guys. They want to save. And even the women, that old school romanticism. I do believe people want that. I do believe, and I know women are going to get pissed, and too bad. I want to treat a man well and cook him dinner and be good to him. I'm a fucking pervert as fuck. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm not a prude, but I do believe in those old ways, and we're starving for it. So we're doing everything we can to romanticize, whether it's through an elf or a witch or a vampire.
A wardrobe.
And I've dated all of them except for the goblins. Seriously, no, it's all about going back to old school, and I think it is coming back, and it's very important to have that, and not to. I'm hoping that by people seeing these movies and reading these books, they relate rather than running.
Yeah.
Am I going to have to wear tights again?
Not tighty whities, don't do it.
I meant like full length.
No.
I mean, I'll do it. You don't have to
just don't
twist my arm.
Don't do the onesies. Don't